Right now, as the Orioles get ready for Game 3 of this four-game series, and Roch, of course, with MASNsports.com School of Roch. Roch, talk a little bit about the power outage, especially from Chris Davis and Mark Trumbo at this point this season.
Yeah, two of Rick's children are really struggling in the middle of the order right now with Davis and Trumbo. It seems like Davis is getting most of the attention because he's hitting 118 since the break, only one double, one home run, and after signing that contract, of course, he's really under the spotlight. But you look at Trumbo, too, quietly, really struggling as well, hitting 165 since the break with 3 home runs. But with Davis, we also have 32 strikeouts in that span, and he's just lost at the plate right now. He struck out looking to end the game last night. But Buck's running him out there. He did lower him to 6th in the order tonight against a left-hander, Ross Detweiler. But they have a shortage of right-handed hitters, so I don't know if he had too much of a choice at this point. But he's trusting track records, and he thinks they're going to heat up. And the old adage that, you know, I've never seen anybody get out of a slump while sitting in the dugout. I mean, they're going to have to play to do that. And Buck's also going to point to the fact that Chris still gets on base. He still draws walks. He's a .333 on base percentage, playing Gold Glove defense. So Buck still thinks that he can help this team out. But clearly, this is an issue when both of these guys have gone cold at the same time in the middle of the order. So maybe they need to be separated beyond just tonight until they start heating up again. Certainly when there's a left-hander on the mound now, Chris being lowered to 6th again, which has happened over the weekend as well. But Captain Obvious there, these guys have to heat up. They really count on them a lot, and right now they are really struggling since the break.
Roch, Steve Pearce came up injured in the game Chicago Sunday and had to leave the game. Hasn't been back in there since. So what's the latest on Steve Pearce?
Yeah, the fact he's not starting tonight against the left-hander tells you that the Orioles don't think he's ready. Otherwise, maybe this would have been a night where Chris would have sat down and you could have had Pearce playing first or DHing or something. He wants to play. He said he's ready right now, but he understands why the club's being so cautious. He still hasn't swung a bat yet since he had the cortisone injection Sunday in that forearm area. He's not throwing. He goes, look, they want to get it all out there completely, all that discomfort. He understands, but the competitor in me, as he said, I want to be out there playing. He thinks he's ready. Now, Buck Showalter had said yesterday he really needed to know by Thursday whether Pearce could stay on the active roster or if he had to go on the DL. He didn't want to go to San Francisco not knowing. He kind of backed off that a little bit this afternoon. He said, hopefully they'll know, but he goes, hey, don't hold me to that. So I think maybe they'd be willing to wait that extra day. Certainly, if Pearce isn't going to swing a bat tomorrow, then they are going to have to still wait. So both sides are still confident he can avoid the DL, especially Steve. He said, look, I'm very confident. Like, I'm ready to play right now. Buck is hopeful, cautiously optimistic. Maybe Steve swings a bat tomorrow. Maybe it's the next day. They're going to have to know something within the next couple of days, though, because especially going to National League, Interleague, they don't want to have a short bench.
Brach hasn't pitched much lately. He's obviously getting some time off right now, especially with the way the games have been. But does he need the rest, or is it just because of the way the games have been lately?
I think clearly they're trying to freshen him up, and I talked to Brad about this yesterday, and it was more of an assumption on his part. He assumes that's what they're doing. Now, he did warm up in the 9th inning last night, so he did have a Brad Brach sighting, and Buck said that he would like Brad and Zach Britton to pitch tonight because they need the work. But clearly they're trying to freshen Brad up. He had that heavier workload while Darren O'Day was on the disabled list in the first half, and you look at the splits, and, you know, he was 6-1 with an 0.91 ERA and a 0.831 WHIP and 40 appearances in the first half. 9 appearances in the second half, a 3.24 ERA, a 14.40 WHIP in 9 games. And left-handers are hitting better against him. He done really well with his splits in the first half. Still really successful against right-handers in the second. The left-handers have raised their average against him from 239 to 265 over the last 6 games. And that's an issue because they don't have a left-handed specialist in his bullpen. Zach's the only lefty, and he's the closer. So they really need Brach to be able to be a guy who can defend himself against lefties. And he said he's fine physically. He thinks the problem is changeup hasn't been as good. Maybe that's the issue with the lefties. But he said, look, he's healthy. He's just not getting the results. And he's assuming that they just want to kind of freshen him up, be a little bit careful with him because they worked him so hard in that first half, and they want him strong to be for the stretch run. They want him to be strong for the stretch run, but he will pitch tonight.